Trapped Under Plastic, the podcast where John Dolph has two kinds of fireball.
I'm Scott. I'm my co-host, John. We are your virtual hobby friends, and this is the Preamble Ramble.
Sit down and stay a while while we discuss with you all the things we like to do together, which is the miniature painting hobby.
They could have gone to a dark place, you know?
I mean, John Dolph has a dark side.
He does?
He's the John Dolph the Gray. I think he's John Dolph. He's got to be like it's got to be like the stupid miniature painting color, right? Because there's Gandalf the white.
Oh, yeah.
Red against the brown. I think the...
Okay, yeah, I'm getting it.
Maybe it's John Dolph the Rhinox hide.
Is that the quintessential Ninjon paint?
Yeah. I guess if there is...
Oh, is that one of the questions later on? If you
No.
were a paint, what paint would you be?
Oh, goddamn, no. That's a good question, though.
Okay.
Well, there's so many more opportunities, and the goody peepees out there will help us with further questions on today's topic. We're getting so far ahead of ourselves. It's my favorite Games Workshop paint by a country mile.
Okay.
This Rhinox hide is just the most beautiful, rich, dark, or warm brown. You know, it has enough richness to it, because the problem is if you go dark brown, it just gets really like desaturated. But to have enough of that warmth, a red warmth, not an orange warmth. Come on, baby. It's just not captured on the market by any other company, and it's so damn good.
Tank brown?
Tank brown is not the same. Tank brown isn't as dark.
That's true.
Tank brown is actually better for a dark rust than Rhinox hide, in my opinion, but it's less saturated.
Dude, what paint is Rhinox hard? Dude?
Rhinox hard? Bro, when you've been painting for enough hours and you're really liking how your miniature's looking, you get Rhinox hard.
I was thinking of something like a Scottish Carbine. You take a pot of Rhinox hide and you just drop it in again. It's opened and then it just mixes with the beer and you drink it. Rhinox hard.
Yeah, I think it's a shot of Jägermeister. It is a loaded brush full of Rhinox hide. Mix it in, and then you drop that into a Guinness and you slam it.
Yeah, I like the reference to dicks more. Let's go with that.
Yeah, Rhinox hard.
Geek boner.
Yeah, Rhinox hard. God damn it.
All right, none of that was our actual Preamble Ramble. Let's get into it.
I got Scott. When I was driving up here this morning, something changed my life. The universe unfolded itself, and I was left with more questions than answers. So I bring it to the consortium today to help me with this.
Okay.
So I'm driving down Highway 94 to get here, Interstate 94 to get here. And when you're in the Minneapolis, there's a bunch of like overpasses of the regular streets, right? And people like to tag those overpasses.
Yes.
You know, they like to write things in their sweet what's that called? Spray paint. And somebody had like climbed over the railing to tag the side of the overpass, and all it said was "R.I.P. Boner."
Oh no. What does that mean? Is that erectile dysfunction?
I don't know.
Wiener being severed?
Is it like one of the greatest characters in TV history, Boner from oh shit, now I'm blanking on the name of the show. God damn it. Kirk Cameron, Alan Thicke.
Oh, is it? I'm going to look like an idiot if I'm wrong. Is it That 70s Show?
No, this is like 15 years before that.
And Alan Thicke. Doesn't he have like one hit song?
He does. He's also the dad of a famous singer, Robin Thicke, who is also one of the judges on Masked Singer.
Okay.
Okay, I got to look at Alan Thicke. Growing Pains.
Oh, yeah, okay.
How did I not get that? I'm sorry. Maybe Alex will cut that to a more reasonable length. R.I.P. Boner. What if the person's nickname was Boner and Boner died?
I would hate that if my nickname was Boner.
I don't know if I would.
Okay. Should I call you that?
No. What up, Boner? But you have to say it like whenever Boner in Growing Pains did something that was like hilarious and kind of wrong, the mom or you know, one of the characters would say Boner.
Yeah. I didn't even watch the show and I knew exactly what you meant when you were describing that.
Yeah. So But also maybe like, someone had a boner accident and they squished their boner and they can no longer get a boner. And so they had to go to the streets and mourn the loss of ever getting a boner again.
So how did this change your life in a fundamental way?
Because I'm driving, and you're just going down the road by yourself,
Yeah.
listening to the Adventure Zone podcast, and you see that, and you can't stop but wonder, who was this person?
Okay.
What was their state of being?
Okay.
Was a single tear going down their cheek as they were putting it looked like it was a rush job, right? There was no artistry. There was no artistry in Rip Boner, right?
Maybe there was grievance going on,
Right, that's what I thought.
You felt the sadness.
Or maybe like he was gonna tag something really, really cool, and then like a cop rode down the street and his boner was gone for tagging that day. It was just Rip Boner, and he had to get out of there. So many questions,
We'll
so
never
little answers.
know.
Yeah, that was not going to be part of the Preamble Ramble, but that came upon me.
It's written down.
I wrote it down when I got to the stop sign before I came in here because I couldn't forget it. It was in my brain. I couldn't lose it.
I love how you fill the podcast doc out on the drive up here.
Yeah, well,
Partially.
I let Jesus take the wheel sometimes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Jesus takes the wheel so you can write about boners in the podcast doc. All right.
what did you I see Star Wars RPG here? You play some more RPGs?
Yeah. I actually think there's been 2 sessions since we discussed it last. Maybe not. Did I talk about how Dan was the okay? So he ran the last session. It was last 2. The one prior that we discussed was mostly a normal role-playing session. This last one was very different because he wanted to do some space combat. And the system that we used, Force and Destiny, is notoriously disliked for space combat. It's too loosey-goosey. It's very difficult to interpret the rules. And so what Dan did is he merged the role-playing rules with X-Wing First Edition. And so we all had a ship. Some of us were 2 people in a ship, and we all had like various actions we could take that was like kind of like the game of X-Wing, kind of like the actions you can take in combat in Force and Destiny. And we stole some ships with the intent to sell them, and we had to get past some criminal organizations and also some of the Empire as well. So it was very different and very cool. I found myself engaging my board game brain more than my role-playing game, just because there was like an objective and there were like rules that you could like make efficient to get to that end goal as fast as possible, and it just like it felt more like a board game, which is not a bad thing.
So it was like you got to play almost kind of like a mini game in there.
Definitely, yeah. That'd be a great way to describe it, mini game.
Yeah. So when you were just focused on that one thing. The one thing I find when the RPGs where you have that kind of a fun like side mini game that is not like the core of what your usual play experience is, that like you don't want it to last too long.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna jump in. You want it to be dramatic. You want it to be fun. You want it to feel fresh, and then you want to hop out.
Yeah.
Because those things usually the cracks start to show the longer that you're in them, and the more they kind of draw to a slog. It's like you want dramatic blows up and whatever, and then you want to be able to like jam their comms, so then you can yell "Space Jam," and then then you get out.
Yeah.
Right. You made your funny joke. You blew up a ship. You get out. You get back.
You jump to hyperspeed. You've done all the spaceship things, and now you're back to normal role playing. Yeah, I feel that. He asked for feedback, and some of my feedback was just that it was a little too simple. Like, not simple. It was too easy. So, like, I think part of the thing with having a co-op board game, and essentially what he was making was a board game scenario, right? That's basically what it was. He had some kind of narrative reason for us to be doing the things we were doing, and then like a goal. Like, our goal was to last a certain number of rounds of combat until one of our other party members on the planet had prepared a larger ship and then took off to the hyperspace lane.
Oh, cool.
So it was like last.
Setting a time frame is always a good thing, right? And you know when your start and your end is going to be.
Yeah, and I find with co-op games, really with all game experiences, you want to feel like there's a challenge. You don't want to feel like it's omega easy. You don't want to feel like you're getting fucking destroyed, right? And so it's just a little too simple. But that's just, that's part of like Dan kind of just going above and beyond and being like super special and trying to like put all these cool things in one session. So it's hard to do all of that like totally perfectly, and it was a great little like change of pace. And now I have to get back into the normal story, and I have to start DMing again.
Oh, so next session you're back to DMing?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a finish. Like we have to go and sell our ships. We got past all of the Imperial blockade and everything, and we're gonna go sell the ships, which will give the party like their first real injection of like cash, so they can maybe go buy stuff and things like that. And then I'll take it up from there.
I got questions.
Okay.
You say Imperial blockade.
Mm-hmm.
How does a blockade work in 3 dimensions? And a blockade is typically set up in 2 dimensions. Do they just like make a giant like force field ball around an area?
Yeah, well, not necessarily. I don't know the science on a hyperspace lane, but I know it's supposed to be a very specific jumping off point because it has a very specific ending point. And so even if there are just ships in the vicinity, like they can see you coming and like, yeah, exactly. A destroyer can,
Destroy you?
Do just that.
It's in the name?
Yeah, if it's in the vicinity. So yeah. And there was TIE fighters as well flying around in a big ship as well. But yeah, it's a little spot. You need to get right in it so you can go to the right spot.
Okay, so it's like an invisible tube, and you have to get to the starting point of the tube because the tube is clear. And if you jump to hyperspace and there was still an asteroid or like a cargo ship going
or
through
a planet or like anything,
you still hit it.
Yeah.
It's not teleportation.
Yeah.
I never thought about this.
Light speed travel. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to change one of my answers for one of the games coming up here in a little bit.
Okay. I'm sure there's someone who has a better grasp on the Star Wars lore of light speed travel that can correct me in the comment section below, but I think that's how it works.
One final comment about this mini game that Dan ran. And I've done these. I've seen these done. I've played them as a player where somebody comes up with something unique and within their game that's not within the confines of the rules of the game, but it really adds. The point of it is to just add this flavor and add this fun, different element. The hardest part of those is always balance because you're making something from nothing and trying to make it balanced. So in those situations, I think the biggest key is to the joy of it is not about it being balanced, right? The joy of it is this crazy thing that's happening and you guys playing your way through it and just like having fun experiencing it. And it's not about it having to be balanced. I think that's the first thing you can do as best you can because, we're all here to have fun. The second thing is like you have to really have your antennas open as the DM to tweak things and adjust. Like there's, multiple checks and multiple things that happen through this scene. If it seemed like the first 1 or 2 were too easy, it's like, I got to adjust the math in my head a little bit going forward. Make the next one a little bit harder, or maybe there is a minor failure there so you don't feel like, it's all easy breezy, beautiful, So that's hard in the moment, but you're really like having to put that pressure on yourself to make it feel like it's just not all a breeze, or like the other side of it where it's like, we're set up to fail from the beginning. Nothing we can do matters, and it's just pure frustration.
Yeah, I feel like that's just DMing in general, being able to adjust on the fly to make things appropriate for your group and make it enjoyable.
I like how you're integrating hobby-related nerdy things into this Preamble Ramble, Scott. It's almost as if that's something that we're trying to make an effort to do. Speaking of that, I keep electrocuting myself.
Boners right into electrocution for the old Johnster.
Dude, this is hobby-related. Okay. So when I finished my basement, I did all the electrical work, and I have one.
I can kind of see where this is going.
I ran a breaker that runs through all the outlets in my my studio, and so it's all on a single breaker. And I can run all the wire. I can hook up all the outlets. I can connect to lights. I can do all that just fine. I had my friend who is a contractor. That is his job. He runs his own business builds houses and shit. And he helped me with certain things when I finished my space. So I didn't like create a place that would implode or something, whatever. So I had him connect the circuit breakers into the box. That part, because that's the part where I'm like, if I screw this up, I'm probably going to die. So I had him do that part. He's not an electrician. He's not a licensed electrician. And here's a fun little tidbit, and this is how it is in the state of Minnesota, but I don't know if it is everywhere. If you finish your basement yourself, and you're the homeowner, and you do the work, you do not need to be a licensed electrician to do all that wiring. When the inspector comes through, They still check it as if you were an electrician. However, if you hire a contractor to do the electrical work in your house, they cannot do that unless they're a licensed electrician.
Okay.
So
someone's being paid to do it.
if someone is being paid to do that work, they need to be a licensed electrician.
Okay.
But if you have your friend help you, and then you just say you did it all, then you get off.
Oh, there you go.
Because
Okay.
I'm the homeowner. So I've had problems with this breaker since it's gotten progressively slightly worse over time, where I trip that breaker all the time. That one breaker that all my outlets are on, because like my computer that I edited is in there. All my lights are on it. All that stuff.
Do you have a universal power supply for your computer?
No.
Have you ever lost any work due to it shutting off?
No.
Okay, that's good.
But it scares me. So and it doesn't just happen like when I'm down there and I'm running everything. Like I'm running cameras, I'm running lights. Like 50% of the time that it happens like overnight. I come down the next day. Everything's off in that room other than the PC still running, but no programs are running or whatever. And it just like, boop, it's gone. It trips a breaker.
A little blip, yeah.
So lately, whenever I turn on my big floodlights that I use, whenever I turn them on, I get fucking electrocuted. I get shocked by them.
Your big lights?
My big lights.
Yeah. Ooh.
And so I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, it's just staticky. It's winter, it's staticky, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, it's more than a static shock. And like, if I do it more than once, like I turn it on, I'm like, ow. And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna turn it off.
Does it feel like static shock, or
It
does it feel okay?
It feels like but it feels stronger than a regular static shock.
Okay.
So I keep getting electrocuted every time I do this, and I feel like I probably should have somebody come out. I don't know, maybe there's a goody PP that's out there that's an electrician. There's a lot more of a handyman than me. Is there an obvious thing that could be there? I mean, I could open up the outlets and check my connections and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know what that might be.
Here's what I'll say. Even in this office, and I did none of the electrical in this office, a contractor did the ones in the ceiling. For some reason, whenever I touch my cameras or my lights, not all the time, but very often I get a little static shock as well.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a camera thing or that never happened in my basement ever. And it's the same setup, rigged up in the
But you didn't have
ceiling.
carpet in there though either. If it's a static thing,
Maybe that's what it
build
is.
up on the carpet.
Okay, so it could be static from walking.
You're
on the
wearing
carpet.
shoes with rubber soles.
Yeah, pretty much all the time.
I'm walking around with wool socks on, just like a fucking static magnet.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I mean, I was considering at some point grounding the camera just to the ground, but there's no like metal post on a camera. I don't think, at least not like an obvious one. Okay, yeah, that is definitely concerning. Might be worth looking into.
I don't have an answer. It's just a story about me electrocuting myself slowly over time. Maybe it'll make me a better miniature painter. All right. Real quick before we lose it, at this intro, we had a wonderful song by Scott's Doppelganger that was posted on the top Facebook group. That is Scott from an alternative timeline. And the same fucking mannerisms. Looks just like you. Can sing high like you.
Because I can sing high.
You can
and
sing
it
high.
Sounds
Maybe-
actually good.
Like, you can sing high pretty well. Like, he's got more practice. But
Yeah.
alternative timeline Scott took more time to practice his high singing.
And 8 more tendies.
He did indulge. And maybe the universe telling you to be careful.
Okay.
You could become alternate timeline Scott.
I don't know where the limit is. I eat a lot of shit, and I'm still doing okay.
Time. Time.
40. That's it.
Metabolism. It'll be a bitch. It'll jump up on you one day.
I'm 33. And I'm pretty dead.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just kidding. I just made everyone who's like,
somewhere between like 37 and 40,
Okay.
your metabolism will just die. It has a first. it goes on like it goes to an old folks home, right around where you're at.
It just
right
checks
around 30.
out.
Yeah, where it's like it's still alive.
my job here is done.
Yeah, but like I'm just taking a break. I've worked a hard life.
Taking a
at this
break.
point. I've worked my whole life. I'm in retirement. Metabolism
It's
in
worked
retirement.
40 years,
This is 30, but eventually it goes on hospice care,
Uh-huh.
and then it just pulls its own plug, and you don't even know it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just be careful.
Okay.
Be careful. Yeah. So anyway, that we want to reference that if people were like seeing this weird person singing at the beginning of the episode and didn't know what the hell was going on. It was just Scott. It was just Scott. So you broke your toe.
I think I might have. I think I actually did something worse to my elbow. So not this last Wednesday. So today's Friday. I record on Fridays. So not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday before that, I damaged my toe playing volleyball. I jumped and I landed on it, and then it was like purple for like 3 days, and I couldn't walk on it. I couldn't put weight on it. But then it just got better and better and better. And so I don't think it's broken because that's too fast for a break to heal. Like less, so I could walk on it fully after 7 days, no limping at all. So I'm not sure, but my fucking elbow, I can't put any weight on it, and it sucks for miniature painting because I like often like paint like that with my elbows, and so over there I have a pillow just for my right arm and my right chin.
I was wondering about that weird pillow. I was like, are you sleeping in here?
Yeah, no, I need it because I can't put any weight on this elbow for whatever reason. But I also fell my elbow playing.
Well, my recent video would if you watched it, was about all the really important parts to be a precise miniature painter for painting with precision.
Okay.
And one of those factors is the closer your painting hands are to the palms, the bottoms of your hand, touching and stabilizing, the more secure you are. So actually stabilizing at the elbow is not as good as stabilizing at the wrist.
I do all of it.
So if you can keep, maybe if you keep your elbows on like your cushy arms chairs,
I think.
arms chairs, and then your wrists on the table.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You solve all problems. You don't need an elbow.
That's literally how I painted for 5 years.
You don't need an elbow.
What?
You see, yeah,
You're saying to tuck it into the rib cage?
you could tuck it into the rib cage,
Like
or
this?
you could keep it on the arms chairs.
Yeah, but then I'm still suffering the same issue.
Well, you're not putting all the pressure there because then more of the weight's on the wrist, where the wrist is touching the table.
Okay, well, that is how I paint, and at the moment, that is too much weight for this particular elbow.
What did you do?
I don't know. I mean, I dove for a ball, and I fell on my elbow, but, like, it wasn't a problem until I tried to paint, and I was like, fuck.
Oh, so you
But my toe, though, that's too fast for a broken toe to heal, right?
Yeah, when I thought I broke my toe, and all I did was I fucking kicked a door. It was like not by my big toe. I smashed it into a door, like, and yeah, it did the same thing. Got purple. It hurt for a month.
Oof.
And I'm like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna go to the doctor? And they're gonna say, what are they gonna do? They're gonna do nothing. Yep. So put it in a shoe, wrap it up. You're fine.
Put it in a shoe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna walk around in a boot. Fuck that. So it slowly gets better. But then like if you accidentally like do a little something, you re-aggravate it like that, you know?
Yeah. Like if my dog steps on my toe, it hurts excruciatingly.
Yeah.
But I can walk on it.
But it took me like 3 months until that didn't happen. So you're fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Until you're like it's good as new. 3 months.
I think I'm fine.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. The elbow, I don't know. Never tell you when I
can bend it. Like I can do all of this. I can't do that.
Did I ever tell you my volleyball injury story?
No.
Oh,
Is it fingers? Is it finger related?
No, it's worse than that.
Okay, yeah. The fingers are definitely the prime candidate for getting injured in volleyball.
So yeah, junior versus senior. This is in high school.
Oh, the junior v senior games. Yeah. I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, junior v senior volleyball game. So it's like a swap. At least this is how it was in the 90s, kids. Yeah, it was a swap. So the boys would play traditionally girls sport, and girls would play a boys sport. So the girls did what they called powder puff football, which is flag football. Sure. And the boys played volleyball.
Yep.
And my buddy, who was also on the basketball team, was a senior. I was a junior, and he was like 6'5", and he was our center, a big, strong, athletic guy. Anyway, we're playing, and we rotate through where I'm in the front line, not where I should be. I'm strictly a bumper, right? I'm a good bumper. I can bump, I can set a little bit, but that's it. That's the extent of my skills. Okay. And some girls were on the side, on the benches, or what do you call them? Risers, seats. I'm out of words today.
I got it. We understand. They're sitting down.
A bunch of cute girls over there, and they start talking to me. So what do? You talk to cute girls, right? Yeah. So I'm talking to the cute girls while the game is going on. Okay. I hear the sound of Odin smashing his hammer onto Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
I look up, and my friend, who's right across the other side of the net than me, I see it just in time where he had spiked the ball at my head.
Yeah.
Last second, the ball hits me in the head, and I hit the fucking floor head first. I smashed the side of my head into the gym floor.
God damn, you could have died right there.
I did not look cool in front of those girls in that moment.
I mean, you looked probably dead. That is insane.
I got up. I was like, try playing off as cool. Got up, walked to the bathroom, walked out of the gym,
Threw up.
to the bathroom, threw up all over the sink.
I'm surprised you remember this happening. It's like you had a concussion.
I don't remember the walk, but I remember being in the sink. I remember being in the bathroom, and I remember we had one of those sinks where it was kind of looked like a bird bath. It was like a big half circle pushed into the wall, and you push on a thing with your foot. You push on the thing with your foot, and it made the sprinkler sprinkle out water. So like a bunch of people could wash their hands at the same time. I don't know who invented this shit, but that's how it worked. I remember there was like a big communal sink. It was one giant sink in the boys' bathroom. I threw up all over the inside of that sink, all over it. And then I don't remember anything other than my mom driving me to the hospital because my mom is a teacher. And apparently somebody told her that I was severely concussed.
Oh, God.
That was one of my 3 or 4 concussions I had in high school. That was probably the worst one. But the great thing is that guy was also kind of an asshole, and he kind of made fun of me for that for forever. And I was like, well, I probably got permanent brain damage. Anyway, I can still paint, though, so it's better than mid-elbow. That's what I learned.
You don't seem like you got brain damage.
No, I mean,
I
keep looking cute myself.
Are you sure?
Are you moving? Scott, are you moving?
I'm trying to move. So yeah, Amber and I would like to. We've just hit the 10-year anniversary on living in our first home that we ever bought, and we're looking to take some of that equity and put it toward a larger home so that I can actually move out of this office and work out of the entire basement of a home. And so we're looking for a house that can accommodate that. So a little bit higher ceilings for light fixtures and easier rigging, unfinished basement, so I can put up walls or just have temporary sets that can move around and stuff, and things like that in the basement. That'd be amazing to have. And then the business can pay us rent instead of me essentially paying for rent here and it going to nowhere, right? And then obviously that also, so I got a bone to pick.
The thing is,
Rudy,
the Jello. Okay, go ahead.
A lot of people on the internet talk about work-life balance and separation. And one thing that some YouTubers talk about is, getting an office so you can have that separation and it being a good thing. It has only ever brought me harm.
Yeah.
The space is amazing. I love the space. It's maybe even a little bit too big. And it's enabled me to do things that I could only ever dream of in my basement. So as far as like the actual value of having more space, absolutely there. But in terms of separation from work, there is no separation from work. I'm constantly thinking about YouTube. It's the first thing I think about when I wake up, and mostly when I go to sleep. And
when you're further away from it, I would guess you'd almost feel like your brain needed to be working. So when you were back here, you'd be able to maximize your time here. It actually like push you to be more proactively thinking about things to maximize your time when you're back at the office. I don't think that's good.
That's definitely a thing. Like actually one thing I do to limit my distractions is before I go into work in the morning, I check my email and like Discord on my phone at home, so that the moment I get into the office, I don't go to my computer. I just sit down and start painting or do whatever I need to be doing that particular day. Because I've identified if I come into the office and I sit down and I look at my email, it just turns into all of this shit all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at camera gear. I'm answering Discord questions endlessly. I'm like, let me mess around with Patreon, do something. It's like, oh my God, it's the worst. So I need to avoid that at all possible. So yeah, definitely some work that happens at home explicitly to avoid distractions here. But the other thing is a very simple thing. I forget shit here all the time. I forget shit at home all the time. And it is so annoying to have to go home and get it or vice versa. And I hate that. I hate that so much. Also, I know people have to drive to work. if I have the choice to not drive to work, especially in the fucking winter,
It's pretty awesome, dude.
why would you not want that? Yeah, so a lot of good things in buying a new home, and that's the plan. So right now we had a realtor come through our house and tell us all the things that we should do to prepare it for sale. And we've been working on it the last couple of weekends. We had some friends to help us. My parents are coming this weekend to help us with some of the more intense things. And then we'll hopefully put it up for a show and get some offers, and then be able to probably at the same time be looking for homes to live in and stuff like that.
Yeah. You don't want either side to feel like a rush. You don't want to feel like we found a house. In order for us to put an offer on it, we got to rush to get our house ready, and you don't want to we got to find a house because we got people that want to buy our house, so you feel like you maybe don't get exactly what you want. Can I suggest to you the wonderful city of Rochester, Minnesota, where your dollar will stretch so much further. I mean, not so much further. It'll stretch further, and you're a mere 1 hour and 15 minutes from anything you want to do in the Twin Cities.
A mere 1 hour and
15 minutes. Anything you want to do. You want to go to State Fair? Hour and 15. Boom. It allows you to go wherever you want to go, but you also say, did we really want to do this? You make priorities of what you want to spend your free time on doing. And you get all the wonderful, there's no fucking Cane's in Rochester or Popeyes. But we do have a lot of really good restaurants.
Okay.
Or maybe somewhere in between. Did you look at Hastings, dog? Hastings is even, it's 20 minutes from the Twin Cities or less. And it's super, was way more affordable even than Rochester. And you get more money, more house for your money. And it's a pretty town. Anyway, that's cool. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
I'll be here to help you. I got a truck. I could be able to help you when you need help.
As far as location goes, we are thinking somewhere further outside of Minneapolis and St. Paul. I mean, Hastings, nothing is off limits, I suppose. We were thinking more like Shoreview or Maplewood or White Bear or something like that.
White Claw Lake.
My contact fell out of my eyeball. It was.
You keep touching it.
It was folded under my eyelid.
That's not the shape. Should you take the other one out now too, so you don't have bionic eye?
Bionic eye.
Or just one can really zoom in, and the other one is
Have you seen Lost in Space, 1997?
Yes.
You know how the guy from Friends, I forget his name.
Joey.
I think it's
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc. Yeah.
Got it.
He's got fucking bionic eyes and fucking zoom in.
God, that movie's fucking terrible.
That movie fucking rules. I love it.
It's terrible.
I love it, dude.
I got a new answer to one of our future questions in the upcoming main topic. Okay, well, I'm excited for you. The last thing I want to talk about here is this is really important. So last episode we mentioned briefly pie in the sky. If we could do anything with the podcast, what would it be? And so my brain has been in this weird dream state. You know that dream state you get when you buy a lottery ticket, a Powerball ticket that's $150 million jackpot, and then you can't help but have your brain go to what you'd do if you'd win.
Of course.
What you'd buy.
Yeah.
Okay, so my brain went to that same place, but for the coolest things that Trapped Under Plastic, the podcast, would do. And obviously, I went to Trapped Under Plastic, the fast food franchise. Okay, got it? Are you with me? If we had a top...
I'm just shocked that you were 3 for 3 Preamble Ramble topics that are not hobby related.
This is about the podcast.
Okay.
And the podcast is about the hobby.
Is it though? Is it?
Okay, so my question to you, Scott, if Trapped Under Plastic, the fast food franchise, was a restaurant, what would be on the menu? You need to help me make the menu right now.
I think the answer is pretty obvious here. The number one on the fast food menu is fucking chicken tenders.
See, that's where I went first too. And I'm it's too easy. It's too obvious.
No, that's the expectation though. If you're running a business
it is.
You got to meet expectation.
Okay, hear me out. I have the answer.
Okay.
But you can help me flesh out. It's still called TUP, right?
Okay.
But it's Trapped Under Paninis.
Oh!
It is a grilled and pressed, sandwich-based fast food franchise with wacky, wild fillings for your panini. So you can get the tender extreme panini, where it's got chicky tenders and cane sauce, and the panini bread is the garlic toast bread pressed down.
Okay. Are we legally affiliated with Cane's here, or is
no?
This is more of a
we'll
dark?
distinct it. We'll call it David Blaine sauce.
We'll call it John sauce.
Yeah. the John Dolph, the Rhinox hides, his famous sauce. So boom, that you know what I love? I love a good General Tso's chicken. How about General Tso's chicken panini, where the panini bread is actually dough from bao buns, okay? And then you press that down with a little Asian slaw on top of your General Tso's panini sandwich.
Dude, I just got a fucking nerd boner.
Okay, it goes further. It goes deeper. Okay, so logo. Trapped under paninis, okay? It's a logo of a panini sandwich pressed down with the grill marks, cut in half. And there's a little man who is the insides of the panini. He's splayed out. He's sticking his head and one arm out, giving a smile and a thumbs up. Trapped under paninis.
Could it be a plastic miniature?
It could look like a Space Marine.
Yeah.
A Space Marine helmet and a thumbs up of his arm sticking out.
Yeah. And then we need, like, we need a little disclaimer in there that we're not going to feed you plastic models. That's the whole logo with the disclaimer, too.
But you know, like every cool restaurant has a challenge.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Eat the plastic models. Is that our challenge?
Yeah, it's the plastic panini.
It's on a sprue. They have to assemble it and then eat it.
Yeah. That all the kids' meals have their own little sprues where the kids can make their own, like horsehair submarine.
Yeah, and the sauce is sprue goo, and like the lettuce is like shavings.
Right. How many flavors of Mountain Dew do we have in our fountain drinks?
Oh, all of them. That's actually all we carry.
Yeah, it's just a variety of Mountain Dews.
It's like one of those
Zeros.
Exactly. It's like one of those movie theater like dispensers, but like instead of just having like 4 options, there's like 20.
Yeah. And if you ask if you have Coke or Pepsi, they fill your cup with ice like they do in Cane's, and then they throw it at you.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. You know where you are?
Yeah.
This is Trapped Under Paninis. Can somebody please make us the Trapped Under Paninis merch?
Don't waste your time.
I want it to look like a fast food logo, and it says Trapped Under Paninis. And it says we deliver at the bottom. I'm just saying, isn't that a great restaurant?
I love a good fusion food.
Yeah, this is all fusion.
And like one of your ideas, at least one of them, was fucking solid. The bao one.
Right. You think of each, you could do chalupa panini, where it's all the ingredients of chalupa, but it's like a thin plus thick corn and plus flour panini press thing, crunchy and soft. Boom. This is the greatest idea ever. Why does no one think of this?
A little side of smelling salts, maybe.
Yeah. Oh,
just a lot of references,
Right. You don't actually have salt at each of the tables. You have smelling salts.
Yeah. Wait, what if instead of you said it should be Peking duck in the bao one because of the reference to ducks.
Yeah, everything's ducks.
Everything's ducks.
Yeah, because on the menu it tells you what's in the things, like what ingredients.
Duck, duck, duck.
Yeah. Okay, dude, I don't even understand how we didn't think of this earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, Trapped Under Paninis. And calzone panini. It's just a calzone.
But it's smushed.
Okay.
I mean, it does sound better, maybe, There's a lot of wasted space in most calzones,
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Are you a Hot Pocket fan?
I fucking love me a Hot Pocket.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm kind of past my Hot Pocket era, but goddamn, when I was in high school, I lived off that shit.
Oh yeah, I love Hot Pockets. And then, so my daughter, she doesn't like breakfast foods for breakfast. And I always have to struggle to come up with good breakfasts for her in the morning that she will eat so she doesn't go to school with a rumbly tum-tum. And she wants savory foods for breakfast all the time. She'll eat leftovers for breakfast and that.
Wow.
Which is great. Like, yeah, she'll eat a fucking tater-tot hot dish for breakfast. Not even kidding. So I'm like, I need like quick on the fly solutions when we don't have something. She likes to switch it up a lot too. So I'm like, I bought her ham and cheese Hot Pocket and pepperoni pizza Hot Pocket. Didn't even tell her.
Dude.
Didn't even tell her. And one day she's like, I don't know what I want for breakfast. I'm like, don't worry, I got you. Now she's on board. Hot Pockets are always in the freezer, and now I'm back on the train.
Hot Pocket Nation.
Yeah, Hot Pocket.
Those 2 flavors were my go-to.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's no. Did you try like the chicken broccoli one? God, fucking disgusting.
Broccoli and Hot Pockets, bro. What am I gonna eat? A lean pocket? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Do you know they don't even make lean pockets anymore?
Yeah.
They're like,
Of course they don't.
They're like, fuck this noise.
They thought about their target audience, and they're like, this makes no sense.
Yeah, people that would eat a lean pocket don't eat hot pockets.
It's two different customer bases, which is maybe why they did it in the first place. All right, my last thing for the Preamble Ramble. It's just kind of a little fun tidbit. So I've been working with remote editors to make my videos so I can paint for as long as possible for my Dark Eldar Army project. The first video I had my buddy Chris, and he did a pretty good job just for the first attempt. There was some challenge getting him the footage because he was on a laptop and
Yucky poo poo.
it wasn't syncing fast, and I had to ship him a drive. It didn't show up on time.
Did you drive him a drive?
I didn't drive. I paid $35 to have it arrive on a Monday. And the next lowest one was like $9, and that got there on a Tuesday. That motherfucking drive showed up on a Wednesday, and I was like, USPS, give me my money back. You failed.
You lose.
Anyways, that was fine. That video was okay. I put about 5 hours into the edit to finish it, which is much less than normal. And then the next two that are coming out are edited by Hattie. Hattie, who works with Guy from Midwinter Minis, previous employee of Games Workshop. She's an editor, and she did a good job on week number 2, and she's doing week number 3 right now. I checked the edit, I don't know, like on Wednesday, and it looked pretty good. And so I'm trying to make that work with her, and she's pretty good too.
And she knows the hobby really well, so that's freaking great.
Yes, it's a fucking double whammy, dude. But it's interesting working with a remote editor. I kind of realized that I need to stop dragging my feet and just fucking do it, and then I will figure out the best way to do something, because it's such a suffer. You know, I think I heard Casey Neistat, older YouTuber, say, if you don't know what you want to do in life, work a job you fucking hate, because you will think the entire time while you're working what you'd rather be doing. Mm-hmm. And there's absolute truth to that, and it applies to this right now. It's like, I will just force myself. I'll just give all the footage to another person and just say, and try to, and in the course of that, I will try to solve my own pain, and it'll get better and better and better each week. And it does. Each week gets better.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hattie's really cool painter too. Yeah. Hattie paints, I think, on Instagram. If you don't follow her,
yeah,
pretty sure that's what it is. She's also interesting tidbit I've learned about Hattie. She is one of them adults that love Disney a lot,
mm-hmm.
and she goes to like Disney Paris
mm-hmm.
and stuff. And she's got a little Disney backpack.
Mm-hmm.
And she's all about and Tim Burton. See, if you followed Hattie Paints on Instagram, then you too would sound like a weird stalker right now. I'm not doing that. I find it interesting to find that people are 3-dimensional.
Yes, it is interesting to see people's other interests other than miniature painting. That's kind of fun.
All right, Scott, we're gonna run a real quick hobby update here, and then we're gonna jump into a new little testy segment of the podcast.
A little testy?
It's not about
just a little testy.
It's not about Emperor Palpatine's ball sack, swinging it like bolos, right? But
could you imagine if you wrangled someone with your fucking ball sack, dude?
That's why his robes
trip, dude.
That's why his robes are so long. So you can't see it. It's all like wrapped around his fucking leg all the way down like a rope. He's got to like unravel it like he's going through one of those little skip it things.
It's like Indiana Jones fucking whip on his like hip, dude.
He uses it by using it like a skip it where he keeps skipping
Whoa,
around.
dude, skip it, bro.
He fucking flings his leg out and he just.
You just unlocked a core memory of mine. I totally forgot about that, like awkward skip it thing. You know, like
imagine if it was your own long ball sack.
Yeah, that'd be fucking sick, dude.
That's another idea. We sell those trapped under paninis, ball sack shaped skip-its.
I feel like you think Hasbro would be down with that.
I think we can make it distinguished enough.
I think if we explain trapped under paninis, they'll be on board.
Right?
With
Yeah.
The ball
we
sack
need really deep pocket investors.
Yeah.
For this next thing.
Hasbro's got pretty deep pockets.
Scott, I assume you're still painting Deldar.
I always and forever. I don't think I'll ever paint anything else. Okay. You know, I feel like I don't make any progress and I'm not ever fast enough. But then we come to do this podcast and I have to think about, okay, what was the last time that John and I met? What have I done since then? And it feels like I've done quite a bit. So I did not finish the Raiders, but I did The oil washing, the painting of some details like the green. There are some details that I didn't bring out, like the banners and the trophy spears that I also painted. And then I did some decal work. What's left to do with the decal specifically is I need to apply layers of varnish so I can hide their like little edge for the, it's kind of like a little sticker. And then worst case scenario, apply some varnish so I can sand it back. I actually went and bought matte, what's not enamel? What is it?
Matte varnish?
Matte varnish, but like the super high chemical scary one. Like you have a primer and it's what's the term?
Lacquer?
A lacquer-based matte varnish, because I know that dries to a sandable finish much faster than an acrylic one does, and I kind of want to be a little bit faster about it. But I've also watched Plasmo, one of my favorite model kit YouTubers, and he's done that before. He'll apply a layer of matte-based lacquer varnish. He'll sand the decal so that it merges with the surface. So got all that progress done on those Raiders. It definitely needs some details. I'm not sure if you watched the video, but I had a catastrophe with the oil wash on the dudes especially. I don't know exactly why that happened, but
I think oil is she's a fickle bitch.
She's a fickle bitch. I think I might be moving. There's a lot of theories. People were like, was the varnish layer that you applied before fully dry? Maybe the oil wash merged with it. It was fully dry. It was drying for over 24 hours. Although I may just move to a lacquer-based gloss varnish just to fucking avoid that. I think the kicker was I think I said it in the video. I mixed an oil wash in a little glass palette spot that I had already mixed an oil wash in previously. And I think the mineral spirits of the new oil wash reactivated the pigment in the old one, and it mixed with the new oil paint. And so some of it came up and some of it didn't come up. Because I've done this thing before where I've tried to remix an oil wash with old oil paint, apply it, and it works great, and it fucking dries instantly. Have you ever done this before?
No.
Using crusty old oil paint? Yeah, it dries so fast and you would not expect it, and it felt like that. Like the paint was kind of flaking off. The oil wash was when I was scraping at it. So that was a sad time.
Sad times indeed.
And
I
then-
see. In looking at the big old ship here, it's like every extra small detail that you are doing on it, it's coming all together.
Yeah.
It pulls it together. And it's funny, even though it's they're little small things, maybe don't take nearly as much time as all those first steps, but all of those it kind of accentuate that hard, long amount of time you spent on that big work.
Hard and long,
Hard and long.
amount of time.
Yes.
Very hard and long.
Rip boner.
Rip. And then, so that was week 2. Week 3 was I'm going to make an Archon. And I just got out a bunch of bits and models, and I was like, how do I want to kit bash this Archon? And I started pulling things out. And I have a bunch of rack bodies as a bit, not the full model. I bought just the torso and the legs because they come as one part. And I wanted them because they have a cool walking pose that I like a lot, and I wanted to use them to convert some Cabalite warriors. Not a lot of them, but a few with kind of a cool, almost duster kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
Felt Wild West. And I was like, let's try to use one right now. And I was like, what if I use the upper torso? It's okay. Why would my leader look like this? And I was thinking about all these fun, lore justifications for why he would look like that and stuff like that. And so I did some kit bashing, and the racks normally have bare feet and cloth on their legs. And so I subbed that out for the armored Cabalite legs. And then the armored arm kind of gives me a gladiator vibe.
Yeah, he has very much a gladiatorial feel.
Exactly.
And the helmet works so great with it.
Yeah, so the arm and the head are both from the Cabalite Trueborn Kill Team kit. And then I grabbed him a beefy witch arm that matched with kind of the beefier torso. And then I had a bunch of cables that were styrene, aluminum, and brass going from his head to his backpack. And I put a bunch of drug pod things that you find in the Talos on the backpack. And the backpack itself is actually the armor that goes over the gun that rests at the top of a Talos,
Yeah.
the scorpion gun thing.
Scorpion tail gun.
But it kind of looks like a backpack.
He's got this sweet turtle shell backpack that feels like he lives out in the desert with that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And he took that off of a scarab that he killed, and he's like, "Oh, this would be sweet. I could put my lunchbox in this."
It's kind of like a Space Marine power pack, but it's just filled with combat drugs.
Right.
So I'm not like super in love with the. Well, no, I'm in love with it. I like the model. I think it's really cool. I think it'll serve as an Archon for right now. I could see myself in the future relegating him to a homunculi and making an even cooler, more badass Archon.
I think he's a really cool model, though. I think
Yeah.
whatever he ends up being, it's just like all said and done, he's freaking cool.
Thank
And that, I love that like really pale armor with the dark brown chipping. Like,
Yes.
it just looks so fucking good. And
I know, and you do
really nailed
super tiny, little tiny baby scratches. Yeah, it looks great.
And most importantly, that off-white highlight around the scratches to bring the dimension. That's what brings it to life. And you got that. He looks so cool. And because that's armor is so light, having the dark cloth and even the darker skin tone, but it brings in some warmth in the highlights, but coldness, so he feels kind of eerie. It all works, baby. And he's got a fucking swizzle sword.
He's so swizzly,
He's
dude.
swizzling around with a swizzle sword.
But yeah, finally, I finished a thing that I said I would finish in my schedule. I like how in the beginning of the video series, I was like, I made a modest schedule for me. Apparently, it was not modest. I have no idea how fast I'm able to paint like a full 10-man unit, you know? Like, how long would it take you to paint a 10-man unit? How many painting hours or days or whatever?
To what level? Just be like, I'm happy with it, 7 out of 10 level?
At whatever level you would paint it for an army. I'm not sure.
I don't believe in armies. Like something I was
fair.
going to be proud to play with. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I'm going to play
Yes.
at least a dozen games of these
What are you
things.
proud of?
At least a full 5 to 10 days, and that's like
5 to 10? You just casually double the rate?
40 hours. 40 hours.
40 hours. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That feels pretty good.
40 to 50 hours. 40 to 85 hours.
Yeah, it's weird, you know? Yeah. Okay, I'll talk about it a little bit more with these witches, but what did you paint?
Witches. Speaking of modest mice, I painted little baby mice. I painted a dozen rats for my Golden Demon project because Vizek, he apparently is like the magic school bus of little rats, and they're just all aboard him. So he's got little rats all over him. I also created a schedule and timeline for myself and a checklist of all the details I need to do.
Yeah.
I still need to paint on this, just so you get those little, when you can check a box, you feel good, you're getting closer to completion. And there's still 7 things on that list as of today. I'm going to really smash out a whole bunch of hours over the next week. But one of those things that I was kind of dreading was painting those dozen little rats, because you got to paint them to a certain level, and they're just all tiny details and that kind of thing. So I'm just using it as an excuse to do some kind of a introspective understanding of painting details and tried out a new kind of tool that I've been meaning to mess with for a while, which is Tattooist grip tape on my paintbrush. Okay. So if you watch the video, you'll understand this part, but like grip tape is like self-adhesive tape, but there's no sticky tape to it. And tattooists wrap their tattoo guns with it, so they prevent finger and hand strain, cramping, carpal tunnel, as well as gives them more precision for line work. So I talked to my tattoo artist about it, and I did some more research just to confirm that was just the things that he was telling me were kind of a well-known or universal truths within the industry, and that's all I could find kind of backed him up on that. And he's been tattooing for 25 years, so I believe a lot of shit he says. But anyway, so I took 2 paintbrushes of the exact same size, exact same manufacturer, and both were almost brand new, wrapped one, and didn't wrap the other. And I went through this entire dozen painting of these rats, going back and forth between the 2 brushes as an experiment to see, could I tell any differences? Could I see any differences? What was my experience after the whole outcome? But it made painting that dozen rats, which is kind of a monotonous, kind of not a fun experience in general, it let my brain go somewhere else while going through the motions. So it seemed to go by quicker, and it seemed to be more fun than if I was just like, oh, I just got to sit down and buckle down after, I'm close, I'm give or take at 300 hours in this fucking project. And I still have a lot to do. So like at this point, I'm just like cross-eyed by looking at the same shit over and over again. I don't know what looks good and what doesn't anymore.
Right. Yep.
So it's so difficult for me to kind of try to make it through this. And this was a good way to give me a breath of fresh air.
Is there space in your schedule for revisions at the end or no?
My goal is that by March 1st, I have everything in the model entirely painted and assembled. Then I have all of March leading up to Adepticon to finish the detail build sections of the base, which isn't a lot of steps for that, paint the entire base, because the inside and the top, and then it's all revisions on top of that. But I have a good 10 days leading up to Adepticon where my calendar is just this project. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to really crank that out and have that amount of time. But yes, once everything's together, the revisions are gonna have to happen. The only difficult thing is when everything's together, it's fucking huge and unwieldy. So the amount of precision you can get in painting compared to sub-assemblies is so much less. So, it's not going to be easy, but I'm gonna have to do that, or I might just be I might be down to the wire just to get it all done without revisions. So I don't want that to be the case, but we'll see.
Is it an option for you to not finish it and bring it next year?
No, not me.
Okay.
Nope. I will. Whatever state it's at is what it's going to go as. But that is also that is what I tell myself to push myself. I'm so I don't want to have spent all these hours and to feel unsatisfied and unfinished with it. So that means, how do I need to act now in order to not feel that way? So I paint on it no matter what I'm doing. I paint minimum 1 hour every single day. Usually it's more like 2. If it's stuff like this for videos or when I get more time and stuff on the weekends, it's more like 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours a day. So yeah, it's a lot. Luckily, all the things now that these little rats are done, and I've finished up his horns. Last night, I finished up his horns, which I did not think about how much work that was going to be, because they're huge and they're all spirally, and there's just so much texture. And I did a 3-color transition, actually 4 different color transitions throughout them. So that process took a long time, but that was my biggest small detail left. Now it's his fingernails is a checkbox. Yeah. His the copper symbol that's on the top of his staff is a checkbox. His singular hoof that's showing is a checkbox. His metal belt is a checkbox. So his 2 patches of exposed skin on his back is a checkbox. So some of those are I could knock off multiples of those in a given day. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping so anyway. But that's where I'm at.
Okay.
All right, your last. You got some custom dudes here. Is your last thing?
Yeah. So I played a game a long time ago before Kill Team existed called Shadow War Armageddon, and in Shadow War Armageddon you could run a squad of witches as your kill team. It was called
Witch.
And I had a bunch of really fun conversions for witches that I'm now finally getting a chance to really paint for just my normal unit of 10 witches in my army.
It's got to feel good that you did all the cool hard work before instead of having to do that all now.
So there was some sprucing up that I did to make it look a little bit better, but it was not challenging at all. And these are the only 2 that are converted. The rest are just normal witches. And there's a third that is fully painted and done, but also heavily converted. Oh, there's one more. I forgot. There's one more who's leaping off of a wall I made the wall. But that was easy to do.
Parkour.
Exactly. Parkouring witches. They have amazing poses that definitely lend themselves to these kinds of things anyways.
These are the ones that you need to showcase in the video.
Absolutely.
Because they're the coolest.
Yeah. That guy over there is he's the guy that hangs off of a Raider or a Venom. And it's so perfect for the pole, he's a stripper. But basically where I'm at with these guys is I did as much airbrushing as humanly possible. And I was actually pretty proud of the way I thought this would work. So basically I primed them black because it's not amazing, but I think a witch is mostly their skin suit, mostly the black part.
Yeah.
But they're 30% armor, which is an unfortunate number.
It is.
It's very unfortunate. And so I brush painted all of their armor khaki, and I brush painted all of the military green color. But then I came back with the airbrush to shade and highlight the armor. And the sepia ink is translucent, and when it gets on black, you can't even see it. So, so it doesn't matter. So that really worked out really well, doing the black first, painting the khaki with a brush, shading it with an airbrush. And then I went a little bit more hardcore and tried to highlight the white with the airbrush and cause as much minimal overspray as possible. So it looks very soft right now and undefined. But once I clean up the black, because there is some khaki that's like kind of leaking out of the black, once I give maybe a little bit of edge highlights to the black instead of it just being an airbrushed like kind of bluish gray black, and like to maybe do some brief edge highlights on the armor, I think it'll come alive. But it's in a very soft looking state right now.
Yeah, but it will change really rapidly with one edge highlight over each of these surfaces.
Dude, do you know how fucking difficult it is to paint fucking khaki over black and not have it like dog shit?
It's a lot of layers.
It's a lot of layers, and like I don't want to spend time doing that. And so I was like trying to mix my paint a little bit thicker to get better opacity. But holy shit, dude, I feel like paint dries so fast, and you really can't touch it once you put it down very much.
Oh yeah, that tearing is gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, and the tearing is not like minimal tearing isn't that big of a deal when you're putting 2 coats of paint on.
Yeah.
When you're putting fucking 5 or 6, like it shows up. It shows up. And so
that's actually the great, like,
it's a humbling experience.
From my experience, that is the single best use for pro acrylic paints. Is they're thin right out of the bottle, and they can cover like a motherfucker.
I wish I don't have pro acrylic paints here at the office, but I was thinking about them, and I was like, man, I wish I had some pro acrylic paints right now for the skin and for the khaki armor.
Yeah, they got that magic mix of it's still thin and it's not goopy, or it doesn't like dry super fast. It has a level of a retardant in it, so you can work with that paint, and it comes right out of the bottle, usable, to get exactly what you're looking for.
It dries slowly?
Yep.
Oh, wow. That sounds like the perfect paint for what I wanted to do right now then.
Yep.
Okay.
It can be trickier for other kinds of applications, but for that, like basic layering out of the bottle, it's the best fucking basic layering paint.
Yeah. I also shaded the skin with that same ink mixture that I did the khaki as well, which felt like a great twofer, you know? It felt so good to like get mileage out of the airbrush, like well into the paint brushing portion of a paint job. It felt good. Oh, I missed a spot. God damn it, dude. This is the worst part about batch painting is they're all different. They all have different looks and stuff, and I just miss details all the fucking time.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's that you do the old paint them with whatever paint is still wet on my palette. Paint that detail, whatever I got going when I see it.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna move over to a little bit of a testy new little topic.
A lot of testies in this episode.
Yeah, there's lots of testies. This is what we call the random patron question of the week. So this is a random question that I pulled out of our patron area where they can submit questions to us. And what I would ask moving forward is if you had a weird random question, could be hobby related, could be not, could be silly, but not necessarily a long conversation. We'll answer it quickly here. So it's something that you could do. We're just gonna wing it here. This comes to us from Reese M. And specifically, this question was asked. I had to dig deep on the wherever we keep the questions spreadsheet. That's it. This was sent to us in 2020, so 5 years ago.
Okay.
So the podcast was still fairly new at that point.
Oh, okay.
And it says,
interesting context.
Would you ever consider adding a segment that's just about random everyday things in life, or not necessarily related to the hobby?
You're welcome. Reese is his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you wanted that, but if you wanted that, you got your wish.
I saw that question. I'm like, feels good, like we accomplished something.
Yeah.
Only in 2020 could you ask that question and not know that this podcast is more about trapped under paninis, breaking your toes, and electrocuting yourself. So if you have a question, a burning question, a silly question, and you wanted to ask it to us, all you can do is you can support the podcast, allow us to keep doing this stupid show every other Monday, by joining us on the Patreon for $5 a month. You get some funny things, like you get to do this. You get to submit your miniature for feedback for us in the after party. What's the after party, you say? The after party is the extended version of the podcast where you get more content, more stupidness from us as a small thank you for your supporting us. And that's the end of the day. Really what it is like you appreciating and showing support to creators that you enjoy and want them to keep making their work. So thank you to our patrons.
Thank you.
And sign up, submit your question. There's right on the Patreon. You can submit it right there. It goes
the pinned post right at the top.
Right at the top. Pin post, submit your thing, and it could be a longer question that you want to be a whole topic for a whole episode, or it can be silly question that we ask here in Patron Question of the Week. Scott, we're getting into the main topic. What is it? What is it?
It is the Hobby Newlyweds Game. We're going to ask a fun, thematic hobby question, and I'm going to have to guess John's answer, and he's going to have to guess mine. And so we'll supply two answers, our own for the question, and also what we think the other person's answer would be. We don't do those simultaneously, right? Like you'll answer a question, I'll write down your answer, and then we'll do mine. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the vibe. John's got a bunch of prepared, great questions. Now we're going to get underway here.
All right. Do we want to just go top to bottom here? I think let's just go top to bottom.
Let's go top to bottom.
Okay. So the first question is, the Newlywed Game is kind of how it sounds. It's basically this, where people that are newlyweds, they got to ask questions. They got to see how well they know each other. So this is going to be that, but not exactly that, because there's no way I'm writing straight answers for all your stuff.
Okay.
So it's just a heads up.
John's going to be a bully. That was the
The whole point of this is for me to make fun of you.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay, ready.
First question.
Yeah.
What would be your signature fantasy weapon? There's a weapon that says, this is Scott. This is my weapon. This is, if I was buried and burned in a cairn, what would be the weapon that they would put across my chest and have me hold? As the boat gets put off into the water, and then they shoot me with fiery arrows, and the boat burns up, and then I sink to the bottom, what weapon is sinking down with me slowly? And then later on, somebody's going to come and steal that weapon for themselves, but it's going to have magical powers. Maybe it's cursed. I'm the true owner. What is that weapon?
Okay. I have an answer. Do you have an answer?
I got to write it down.
So you have an answer for me.
Okay, this is what Scott's would be.
So I'm like filling up the whole page with this.
Yes, I got it. Okay, this is.
Okay, I'm gonna do it on one half of the paper and then flip it to the other half. All right. So this is my answer. All right. I mean, yeah, I got an answer. John's having to look something up, so undoubtedly he's gonna write something dumb like bubble wand or something else. Maybe something he can't spell.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Yes.
Okay, so Scott's signature fantasy weapon would be a Casio T85 scientific calculator spellbook.
Pretty good. I'd take that.
Did you use the scientific calculators
just
for Casio?
to spell boobs with it? Yeah, of course. You were required to have one for calculus 1 and 2.
Yeah. I when I looked this up, I was like, do they still make these things?
T85s? I mean, I imagine.
They make fancier ones. And they're called cell phones. No, I'm guessing Casio's in the app game at this point, where you can just turn your phone into all this.
Maybe,
shit,
yeah.
maybe not.
Well, 1, I hate you, and 2, you're wrong. It's probably basic, but I fucking love a good Crusader sword.
Ooh, yeah, a big two-hander.
I got a two-hander or a single-hander. I don't mind sword and board, but I love swords. They come in so many different shapes and sizes. But I love a Crusader sword. I was gonna say scythe. I love a scythe too, but I gotta go with my OG.
I think that the spells that you could cast with a Casio T85 spellbook would probably, like, someone with Crusader sword didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, dude, just fucking slinging diffy Qs at people.
Yeah, right. You could play Snake on it.
Integral.
Some people learn how to, like, download Doom on there. So remember that? It's fucking crazy talk. All right, what's mine? What's mine? What is my signature fantasy weapon? Okay, once again,
I feel like there's a family of options here that I want to pick from. I also don't know how to spell this.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the humor, actually, is just how bad I am at spelling. Let's do that. I don't even know. Yeah. We're gonna go with this. Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. My guess for your Siggy, I guess it's, fuck, this is not a fantasy weapon. Shit. I guess neither is a sword.
But a T85 calculator sure is.
Yeah. I mean, it's fantasy. It's not real. I said nunchucks.
Nunchucks. That the way you spelled that,
like
N-U-N.
the biblical nun, and then chuck at the throw.
I just throw nuns at people.
What is it? I'm chucking nuns.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like how do you like dodge that?
Yeah.
Do the nuns yell?
Yeah.
Like they yell like holy.
No, they're silent nuns.
Oh, okay. That's even more deadly.
You slingshot them.
You don't hear them coming.
Yeah.
As the nuns are
just hear the air pass by.
Sometimes, like if you get a good whip, you get a little breeze under them. You hear a little bit of.
You just feel the fabric kind of like. Yeah, you hear hymns. Is it not nunchucks? Is it a shuriken? Is it a katana?
No, it's an adamantium unicorn horn.
This game is going to be impossible.
So obviously, my first place goes to I need to be able to hide my weapon in case I'm ever trapped or captured. Right? You can't take my weapon from me, right? Because if they just take your T85 calculator, like you're fucked, right?
But up your butt, dude.
I did not consider that. But an adamantium unicorn horn, just like adamantium claws, could go right back into your skull. And then, as I beat somebody up with all my ninjutsu arts, right, and they're tired and they know they're defeated, in my last moment to give them honor for a battle well fought, I place my forehead to theirs. I say a small prayer, and then I open the unicorn horn.
Was this topic idea just an excuse for you to have more Preamble Ramble?
I have an hour and 15 minutes to drive up here, and I was thinking of answers the whole time.
Oh, no. All right, here we go. Okay, adamantium. So this also implies that it exists in your head right now, or like in this fantasy universe.
In the fantasy universe that I live in.
Where does it go when it comes into your skull?
I just have a hole in my brain. That it can just like it snakes in, just like when you go swimming, your wiener just kind of sneaks up into your body.
Okay, so it's not like you lobotomize. You have a hole in your brain. You are lobotomized.
Yes.
Okay.
This is part of the Weapon X program that you need to.
Oh.
You need to get. You need to do the experiments.
Mm-hmm.
So then make a space. Make a space. Right. Yeah. But like when it's all the way in, like my spine on my neck is super strong.
Okay.
Because you can't hurt my neck.
No.
Because there's a adamantium horn that's lodged down there.
Unless it comes out, and then your neck kind of actually collapses because you don't have
there's no other bones in there.
Your head just kind of flops. And you got a sick horn.
Right. I didn't think this all the way through. God damn it. Okay. All right. Next question. What fantasy RPG class are you?
This is like D&D RPG class?
Yeah. Fantasy RPG class are you? This one I don't think I have a good answer for Scott.
Oh, I don't think I have a good answer for myself. So we want to keep it standard, right? Like don't go too crazy here because there are some weird ones.
No, you could be crazy. Like this is your character class. You have to be this forever. Like you want it to be something that you really want to be.
Okay. We're not saying okay. Fuck. Yeah. All right. I think I know.
I do have an answer for this one. I forgot. I think I know what yours is going to be, but this is what I think you should write.
Okay.
All right, Scott, if you would be any fantasy class, and this is you, this is just who Scott is, Scott would be a loomist.
A loomist. I've never heard of a loom. Is this like something to do with fabric and sewing?
Yes. A loom is an old-timey thing. It's a big contraption where they run the threads through, and they got to push this big wooden bar up and down to make rugs. So your class is loomist. So you would be very proficient with high skill cap for a loomist. And you would make all of the throws in the fantasy world.
Wow.
I think that's a good class. It's a good class.
Why do you think that's useful?
Because it's very practical, and you're a practical person.
I'm a practical person?
Yeah, it's very, and like, your ceiling for usage in the fantasy realms is very high, because who doesn't have an abode that needs, it needs comfort.
Okay.
It needs warmth. It needs soft, cushy places right in front of the hearth.
And if you were my if you were my DM, would we have like a rug making like encounter so that I'd find some value in my class?
Well, you'd have a really really robust downtime. You would be able to accomplish so much.
I wouldn't actually show up to the actual sessions. I'd be off in my own session just role playing rug making.
Yeah, they would when the rest of the adventures came back to town. You'd be there.
Like, look, guys,
you'd have made them scarves.
Yeah,
like you'd have like a woven cloaks for everybody. They don't really help with winter time, but in like a stiff breeze, you'd be a little bit warmer.
Am I a magical lumist? Can I weave magical like thread into these cloaks to make
once you get level 7, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then you have like a portable hole that your loom can come out of, and then at any place you can pull out the loom, and you can like
I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, now you can weave
loom.
As you're weaving, you can weave like the future like through symbols and things, and weave magical spells.
Okay, so now I'm the 3 fates of Greek mythology.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm down with being a god.
Yeah, exactly. Through your looming.
Sure. Yeah.
You really are a looming threat.
Okay. Good. Well, I feel like an idiot because I put ranger, like.
Oh, he's one of them. They're rangers.
He's one of them ranger folk. Yeah, ranger, fucking paladin. I don't know.
Those are 2 totally different things.
I know, but I like both. I love the religious freak zealot, like, super committed, devout guy with a big hammer and a big set of armor. And I like the glass cannon, lithe, scout kind of thing as well.
Yeah, do you like the outdoors?
No. Like, personally, no. I don't dislike them, but, like, I like being in a base.
Like, there's more than one?
There's only one.
There's many outdoors.
There's outside my house, and that's it.
Well, if there are a lot of doors,
yeah,
then there's a lot of outdoors.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's not what I was going to pick for you, but that's let's go with Lumist.
Lumist.
For me, mine's a serious answer.
Oh, yours is a serious answer? Okay.
It is. You can play along at home too. Like, if you think you know what ours is or what ours should be, if you think we got the answer wrong and there is a correct answer, you can put that down in the comment section.
I don't know if I can put.
I can't be funny about this because this is serious. This is what I'm going to be in a fantasy world forever. If I was like, boop, boop, what would I do?
I put 2 answers because they kind of seem similar. I don't know if that's allowed.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll say my first answer as my official answer, but I put rogue/thief, and I feel like my official answer is, I don't know if rogue is a D&D class, but I feel like you're a little sneaky guy. You're a little ninja.
Yeah, you should have put ninja.
Ninja's a class?
Yeah, it is. Ninja's been a class in RPG since Final Fantasy 1 in like 1986.
Final Fantasy. Okay.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 1. The thief, when you got to higher levels, they have like advancement classes. And thief turned into ninja. So ninja is better than thief. I do like being sneaky. Mm-hmm. I do like stealth. And I do like killing people before they can punch me. Mm-hmm. Those are all good things. However, when I think back to my core memories of what made me really love fantasy things and really love like these fantastical worlds, swords and sorcery, I had to be a Death Knight.
Yeah.
But Death Knight ninja.
Can you be a Death Knight?
Yeah, you can be a Death Knight. You can play Shadow Knight. There's Shadow Knights in EverQuest. There's, what are they called in World of Warcraft?
Oh, okay. So you are expanding my understanding of RPG to potential MMORPGs, action RPGs, all RPGs.
All RPGs.
Okay. Death Knight's a great fucking answer.
Yeah, you could be a Death Knight in like D&D and shit.
How do you be a Death Knight and cooperate?
That's difficult. Usually you have to. Everyone needs to be a bad guy. It's the bad guy campaign.
Oh.
Yeah.
Geek boner.
Yeah. So like you be the necromancer, and then I be the Death Knight, and Dan. I think Dan has to be the Lumist because we need a support class. But they're like a mad Lumist.
He's crazy.
Yeah, just crazy.
Dresses nuts.
Like everything that he does looks like it's out of Nightmare Before Christmas. Everything he looms God. So yeah, Death Knight Ninja. So like I wear this big, awesome black plate mail with a really menacing helmet, but it's super silent. You can't hear me coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Generally, I hate it when people take two things that don't belong together and put them together.
But that's
like that.
That's that. But there's also in my big looming, menacing armor, there's a hole in my helmet.
It comes back.
Right.
Lobotomized Death Knight fucking ninja, dude.
All right, Scott. The next question is, what Warhammer 40K model are you?
Okay.
And I don't know all the models.
You don't know them all?
So
You couldn't name them right now?
I'm going to assume this is a model.
Okay, yeah. Which one am I? This is a 40K one.
Yeah, 40K.
Man, I have a great answer if the answer was AOS.
Sorry, it's not. You could just say in space, and then that counts.
Okay. Never in a million years.
Okay, all right. So, Scott, if you were a Warhammer 40K model, you would be a Tau drone supervisor.
All right.
So there's a lot of Tau drones need to be put into action to survey the scene, to throw some bombs and stuff. But who tells them what to do? Who does the regular scheduled maintenance? Who changes the oil?
That's me.
You know, who's back at home watching through the safety of the drone cameras and make sure that everyone goes where they want to go and that they make some cool lights in the sky and then they blow up orcs. That's you.
That's me.
You make sure, you make it all happen. You are middle management. Tau middle manager, Scott.
Wonderful.
Okay.
That's a better answer than mine.
Okay.
I said I was an Urgle. You know what an Urgle is?
I don't have the slightest idea.
It's it's in Blackstone Fortress, but also an Urgle is one of the models you could have in a Court of the Archon for Dark Eldar. But I just said Urgle because they're thin, they're creature-like and sickly, and I kind of feel like I have that.
Oh, I know exactly what that model is.
Yeah, he's kind of like, he's got one of those. You know, I kind of feel like I have Urgle energy. You know?
Yeah, I can see where the proportions come from. Okay, that's a good answer.
Thank
do
you.
they have a level of speech communication skills?
Yeah, they go.
Do they have 0 eyes or 1 eye?
I think they have 4 eyes.
4 eyes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Which works because I have glasses.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I see.
They have like several because like the skull has like multiple eye sockets in it as well because that's like on some of the trophy spears in the faction, like an Urgle skull. It's multiple.
Ooh, I hope it's not your skull.
No,
You didn't make
I'm
it.
alive.
Aren't they kind of squinty though? Like they have eyes. They can't see super well.
I don't know Urgle lore, bro. Why are you asking me?
You wrote it down. You seem to know how to spell it.
I do that. Yes.
Okay. If I was a 40K unit model, I would be. All right. Yeah, I have my answer. Okay. I'm ready. If you just want to put the Emperor now, you can just say it.
Didn't put the Emperor,
Okay.
but did put a pretty cool one. I think if you were a 40K character, you would be a Night Lord Raptor.
Oh, yeah, that's way better than my answer.
It's like the quintessential Night Lord unit. Night Lords are all about being sneaky and subterfuge. They're also one of the traitor chapters that like aren't into like demons and stuff. They're kind of like still stuck in the 30K mindset. I fucking love Night Lords, but you also like Night Lords as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about through Night Lords, and I was like, yeah. And I try to think of the main guy in that book that I read, but now or books that I read, and I can't remember his name.
Did you read the Night Lord trilogy?
The omnibus? I didn't finish it, but I read like 2 1/4 of the books.
Nice.
But that's pretty cool. I wrote, obviously, a Kroot Innkeeper. Now,
you're on the Tau fucking train right now.
See, I love Kroot so much. They're so silly. Like, they just look like the fucking Jar Jar Binks of the 40K universe.
Oh my gosh, that's so accurate.
And they got these long, derpy feet. And I just feel like in the far ends of the universe somewhere, there's, a lesser used unit. Maybe he's overpointed for his stats. And he's the Kroot Innkeeper.
Okay.
Right? He never really makes it into any competitive list. But, like, if you need to take a load off, right, and get some hot grub at the at my little way station and listen to some jams.
Oh
yeah,
do you know the genre of music that is officially?
Oh, they made a genre of it.
Yeah, just guess what it is.
Space boop.
Space boop.
Yep.
Kind of sounds like jazz, right?
Yeah.
What's the sci-fi version of jazz?
Synth jazz.
Jizz. I shit you not. I believe Disney officially retconned that, but George Lucas called it jizz. Which is just so fucked. You're the kind of innkeeper that's like, oh, if trouble comes to the bar, maybe you might mix a little cocktail that might
yeah,
kill
we
someone.
off them, right?
Yeah. You got access to that.
Everything is just pure ethanol.
Okay.
That is everything that I
A
serve.
crude drink.
Yeah, crude drink, only ethanol. You want flaming shot. Ugh. Yes, I'm the crude innkeeper. Okay, space innkeeper. This is 40K universe. Get it right, John.
Who would play you in a biopic about being a grown man that paints toys for a living? I have an answer for this instantaneously.
This is who's gonna play you in the biopic. Okay. This is Scott, famous actor. I don't know how to spell this name, but I'll give it a go.
Oh, no. I think this is a better answer.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Scott, who's gonna star as you in the upcoming biopic of a grown-ass man who paints toy soldiers.
I hope we got the same answer.
Steve Buscemi.
Oh, okay.
Steve Buscemi?
Again, Steve Buscemi. He could play an Urgle. No makeup needed, really. You know,
Steve Buscemi is great.
creature vibes for sure. I put Tobey Maguire. You know,
I think I'm closer.
no, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay, I know that he's Spider-Man. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Steve Buscemi, he's got that quirkiness. He's got the he's a slightly...
Tobey's got some quirk too, dude.
No.
No?
What's Tobey Maguire done since Spider-Man
Who
20
cares
years ago?
what has fucking Steve done?
He does. Steve Buscemi comes out with like a movie a year. You've never watched most of them, but
Tobey was in the newest Spider-Man movie.
oh well, they had to throw him a bone.
They did.
As all the more Spider-Mans come out, I realize how bad those original ones were.
I haven't watched them in a while, but they're done by Sam Raimi, who did Evil Dead. So
Interesting.
yeah, strangely. I'm not sure if the later ones are, but definitely the first one is a Sam Raimi movie.
Donnie, who loved bowling. That's who's gonna play you. Okay, who's gonna be me? Who's gonna be me? Are you just picking somebody that kind of looks like me?
I mean, that's generally when you're casting someone for a role, one thing you're concerned with.
I want the range. I wanted to know that they can. I have confidence that they can play the personality.
This guy's got fucking range.
The personality.
This
that is
guy.
okay. Who plays me?
I mean, that's fucking Tom Hanks.
Okay, yeah,
He's got range.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, young Tom Hanks, young thin Tom Hanks.
Yeah, we got to go back in time.
Yes,
I want Forrest Gump Tom Hanks.
exactly.
I want ping pong playing, Bubba Gump shrimping, Tom Hanks. Oh, Lieutenant Dan screaming, Tom Hanks. That's what I want. Yeah. I wrote, obviously, an amazing range. Goes without saying. I chose Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito, dude. I need someone to be wacky, to be out there. Wears glasses. Not the tallest guy in the world. Crazy hair. Just could go anywhere.
Crazy hair, not much hair.
Yeah, well, we can put a wig on him.
Okay.
Or maybe I go bald when I'm old, and it's him retelling the story of my whole life as old Danny DeVito. Right? I'm smiling just thinking about it. Me, Danny DeVito, me.
If you start balding, are you the kind of person to shave your head, or do you keep it going?
I just comb it all forward like I'm in the band Misfits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you do the Walton Goggins move and you comb it all back and just let that fucking...
Oh, that makes it look so worse when you just comb it straight back. It's like a landing pad for what your forehead used to be.
For your thoughts.
Yeah.
Enter.
You might come in hair.
You got that little guy on your forehead doing like the lights thing.
Yeah. All right. So... And then we do a crossover movie where Danny DeVito and Steve Buscemi get together for crazy antics. If I'm watching this movie and we're together as a part of it, I want to watch the Steve Buscemi, Danny DeVito movie more than I want to watch the Tobey Maguire, Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, but mine might actually win an Oscar nomination.
Oh, good point.
Okay,
Good point. Yeah,
I don't think Danny DeVito's pulling any Oscars,
He's going to get an Oscar before Tobey Maguire. I tell you, that's for damn sure.
I was going to say, I don't know if Toby is either.
Toby ain't doing nothing.
Toby doesn't need to do anything, He's bankrolling it right now. That's Spider-Man money.
Spider-Man money? I don't know how deep that goes. It was before the superhero movies were really popular.
That is true. Okay, next question. If you could only paint one faction for the rest of your life, what would it be? Are any of your answers going to be serious?
This one's I can't be silly about this one.
Do I have any hope of actually getting a point?
Yeah, this one I'm gonna.
Death Knight Ninja.
Dude, Death Knight Ninja was kind of like, it's like the superior form of Death Knight. But Death Knight is the core. Like, bad guys. Bad guys are always better than good guys.
100%.
So
Death Knight also is just like chef's kiss. That's like the coolest fucking bad guy.
Exactly. That's why I got into fantasy, was because of bad guys with big black armor.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. If I played WoW again, 100% I'd roll a Death Knight. It's just so cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Your faction
One faction.
can be any game.
Any game.
I'm probably going to have to go with Games Workshop because they make the most models and they're nice. So you want to paint a nice model for the rest of time.
Did you see those? Oh, hold on. I can't say that.
I can't say that.
Gonna give it away.
You're going to paint. Oh, you did just give it away by saying you're going to give it away.
Well, no.
I want to show that I could have gotten all of these right if I wanted to by getting one right to just prove to the audience.
What would that prove?
It proved that
You get the most obvious one, right?
yeah. I think it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there one of those I actually could have gotten right? I know I wouldn't have actually picked Ranger. I would have picked. I thought you were going to say Death Knight as well, or Necromancer.
If I had thought about Death Knight, I might have said that. That's a fucking good one.
Yeah, I would have picked a Night Lord's thing for you too. You're gonna paint for the rest of your life. You're gonna paint Soulblight Gravelords.
Soulblight Gravelords.
They have so much diversity in the range.
Yep. You got zombies. You got skeletons. You got vampires. You got armor. You got like fucking
ghosts.
You got animals. You got creatures.
You got big scary armored
Ghosts.
things. You got big dragons. What more do you want?
Did you see those new characters?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I want that new dragon so bad.
The dragon, yes, but there was like
the new Kato Kalin and friends.
and friends, the non-wizard snake one, like the one who's like kind of like leaping. Holy shit, that one looks so good.
The female vampire.
Yeah, but also Kato looks good too.
Not as good as OG Kato.
Yeah, the OG Kato looks better. Yeah.
I think if you take the ghost off of the back of new Kato,
What the fuck is that guy?
the blood of the Lord.
Okay.
I'm gonna put some bullet in. Anyway.
Whoa.
Like making shit based on lore instead of what's just badass. Silly boys.
Silly boys.
We can just. I'm not gonna answer this because
I wasn't gonna write anything else. I was gonna do this again.
Soulblight Gravelords. That's what I'm painting too.
It's a wash,
dude. You get to even paint like wolves and shit.
Yeah, wolves and shit,
and bats,
guys, and bats.
This is a fucking easy game right here. That's the best. That's the best. If you're gonna paint one thing, I farted. You paint that. This is the last one. Okay, the question is, if you were forced to be transported into a fantasy/sci-fi universe and had to live there for the rest of your human life, which would you choose? Now, I think it's important to say, the rest of your life is however long you can live.
Right. What are you trying to...
I don't know. I don't know. Like if I
trying to clarify, what are you actually clarifying?
If I say Warhammer 40K universe, like we're probably dead right away.
Exactly. Yes.
Probably instant.
That's a consideration you care about?
Yeah, that's a consideration I care about.
Okay.
That's a consideration.
Let me look up something real quick. You're gonna put what you think I'm gonna put? Now you're just fucking mind gaming.
Yeah.
Just put what your answer is.
I'm gonna put what I think you think I'm gonna put.
That's not the game. All right. So, John reads a lot of fantasy books.
I do.
At first I was like, maybe the Wheel of Time universe. I don't know if that's a fun universe to be in. I don't know anything about that universe. There is a universe that I do know a little bit about that. No, John knows a lot more than me about. I don't know what it's called, but I called it the Stormlight Archive universe.
Was this my answer?
This is my answer for you.
Your answer for me. Okay.
Oh shit! Did I fuck up?
No, it's fine. I
fucked up. We always do mine first.
That's okay. I'm ready. I already wrote mine down.
Oh, you did?
For myself, because I thought of it right away.
What is it?
That's actually a really good answer. Because most times in fantasy novel series, there's some impending world-ending situation.
Yeah.
But in the Stormlight Archive, if you're a Lightbringer or a fucking Wind Runner or whatever, like you're basically a god.
Yeah.
And you could get that just by like getting one of the swords or the armors. You could be normal person, and then you get to have god sword.
Now there is a caste system just based on the fucking shade of your eyes, so that's kind of unfortunate.
Well, I have eyes of a.
Are you light eyes?
No, well, I'm right in the middle.
You're kind of you're in the middle tier.
Right. Yeah. I'm more like the Poopsmith eyes. Like Like what the jobs you have access to is pretty low. Did you get that reference? Poop Smith?
No.
It's from Strong Bad.
Oh.
Here's the Poop Smith. I chose the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ah, God damn it.
Okay. There are many correct answers for this question, and all of them fall under 80s or 90s cartoons because nobody actually dies in those universes. The only people that get killed are the robots, right? So, also,
You're not a robot.
I'm not a robot.
Check.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles, friends with normal-ass humans.
Yeah.
April O'Neil, Casey Jones. I can just fit right into the crew.
Yeah.
Or Shredder is also badass and a human guy. I could get my own suit.
Yeah.
I could be Shredder Jr.
He's a rat. You like rats?
No, that's Splinter.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Shredder's the bad guy with all the fucking blades.
Yes, and he's kind of got a little bit of a ninja aesthetic, too.
Exactly. I could be in charge. I could be like
Shredder bro.
I could be like the vice president of Foot
Shredder
Soldier.
Nation?
Yeah, Foot Soldier operations
Okay.
manager.
You couldn't be that and also friends with the Ninja Turtles.
I mean, I'm a good double agent.
Double agent.
I wear a different costume. It's like G.I. Joe, where there's the ninja that's the bad guy and he wears a white outfit, and there's the ninja that's a good guy and he wears a black outfit, and it totally gets you off guard. There's two different ninjas, and Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. Ha! I knew their names. Boom. Those are the two ninjas. I'll just wear a white suit with one and a black suit with the other, and they'll never know it's me.
Would G.I. Joe have been a pretty good answer for you?
G.I. Joe, I don't consider it as fantasy though. It's
That's
just
true.
like it's
sci-fi.
It's little kid armies. You're right. It probably is, but it's just mostly just like dudes and robots. Okay, yours. I wrote yours down. It's a terrible answer when I write it anyway. 3, 2, 1. Dune. You wrote Dune? I can't believe you picked Dune.
Dune.
Oh yeah,
And I have a good answer for this.
I'm excited to hear how the lore fits into this.
The lore. I mean, I think the cool thing about Dune is it's a picture of humanity 10,000 years in the future, and humanity is fucking badass. They can do all kinds of cool shit. I love the idea of being able to like pick a path you go on, whether it's Mentat, Master Assassin, Bene Gesserit, Spacing Guild, or like whatever, and like become like an expert in that thing. It's like the modern interpretation of like a university and like a career, but it's like a life devotion, you know? And like, I mean, like who wouldn't? I mean, I can't be a Bene Gesserit because I'm not a woman, but like, wouldn't you want to control someone with the voice, or like train with a sword master to be like some awesome like advisor to like some house leader or something? Like, I mean, obviously I'm doing the thing that everyone does, which is like you assume you are a badass in this universe.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna go there, you might as well have life goals.
Yeah, but I think I like the depiction of humans in the future in Dune, like how they've improved so much and become so capable and powerful. So hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dune,
Okay.
for
So
sure.
you, I assume, would like learn how to make and like control all those little mosquitoes that have the poison needles.
Oh, you think I'd be a hunter seeker drone operator?
Yeah. Because like, who's gonna fuck with you? Because like, you just walk into my room, it's just filled with mosquitoes. Like, don't fuck with me. Any one of these mosquitoes will kill you. Yeah. You may kill me, but my mosquitoes will make sure you don't get out alive.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty good job.
Yeah.
It's got good job security.
Does it? Because the one depiction of it in the movie, he just gets walled into a.
Well, that means there's openings.
Okay.
It's like a 2-year program after high school. You could get into there a good entry level salary. I mean, the one thing about the Dune universe I didn't think about, it doesn't really have like the overarching the entire universe is going to explode or get killed or whatever kind of storyline. It's more political. Regular people out on whatever planet. Didn't they blow up a planet though?
I don't know if they blew up a planet, but they are. I mean, in the later books, committing like mass religious genocide.
I mean,
Like it pales in comparison to anything we've experienced in like the real world. So like, is that the world and universe imploding? I don't know.
it's not great.
It's not great.
It's not great.
No.
But okay. Well, that was the Hobby Newlyweds Game. Do you all think that we answered correctly? And do you think you had answers that were more accurate to who we are? Also,
Do you think that you had answers more accurate?
right? Another reason why I thought of this as a topic is that this is the kind of thing that like these are the kinds of questions that are really fun at like the live shows. So if you're listening to this and you are coming to Adepticon where there will be TUP live, do not forget if you are coming to Adepticon this year that you must attend TUP Live. That is a requirement. It's in the fine print of the contract you signed by listening to this podcast. Whether or not you got a ticket, tickets are free. There's going to be in a big room. Please come and ask us questions. Maybe it could be a hobby newlywed game question.
Would you rather?
Would you rather? Would you rather question? Some other weird and wild question.
I feel like this would have been a good thing for TUP Live if we did this. Like this would have been a fun, little bit different feeling for a live thing.
I think we could probably let's ask the goody peepees if you were attending or you're going to listen to the recording of us attending. Would you want another episode of Hobby Newlywed Game? We could easily integrate a guest with this as well, so we learn a little bit about our guests.
Mm-hmm.
I can easily come up with more questions. I think we come up with some banger more questions.
Yeah.
These were just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
And if you have questions that you'd want for, TUP Live Newlywed Game, put them down in the comments or start a post on Facebook, and we can collect them all there on the TUP Facebook page. And so if those are all in one area, then it'd be easier for us to collect them all. So did you enjoy this?
So much.
We got 2 right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Actually 3 if you count Soul by Grave twice. Welcome to the end of the podcast. We did it. We made it all the way to the end. This episode, we tried a different fun little segment where it was a short patron question instead of doing a patron mini critique. We did do the patron mini critique in the after party. So if you watched both episodes and you got to see our testing out different little small segments, which one did you like better? Be honest with us. You're going to anyway, and tell us what we suck at. That's what comment sections are for. But did you prefer mini patron critique? Did you prefer quick, silly question from a patron? Please let us know.
Yeah, to be clear, what would you prefer to end up in the episode that ends on YouTube? Which one of those segments is more preferable?
Yeah. That's it. We already mentioned how you can support us. You can pick up some TUP merch. We got links down in the show notes in the video description. You can check out our Patreon. You get access to all of the old episodes, after parties, if you want to go through and catch 20, 30 minutes of more random shit that we talk about and weird shit. You can do that as well. Or you can just start now with this very episode or the next very episode. We are quickly approaching Adepticon 2025 and TUP Live. So we are going to probably start a thread on the Facebook group about questions. So people that aren't able to attend TUP Live, I'm sure there's 2 or 3 of you that aren't able to attend. If you have questions that you'd like to be asked for us live at TUP Live, but you're not going to be there, you can put those in. And then if you are attending and you didn't have a funny question or interesting question yourself, you can always ask one of those questions. Otherwise, we may have Sexy Teeth Joshy or Ginger Jesus ask those if the people that are attending run out of good questions.
Yes. Also, in case you are just a podcast listener, both John and I have a YouTube channel where we paint miniatures. And so if you'd be into that, they are always linked down in the show notes and description below. We never think that people find us through the podcast, but totally is a possibility.
Yeah.
So worth mentioning. But otherwise, we'll catch you soon. And what do you say at the end?
Say, we have a good time between next time. Catch you on the flippity flap.